Hi, I'm a middle-aged man with an embarrassing problem. I get irrationally angry at a Swedish girl who wants to save the planet. Luckily, there's now a number I can call.
Hello, you've called the Greta Thunberg helpline.
If you're a grown adult who needs to yell at a child for some reason, the Greta Thunberg helpline is here to tolerate you.
She's just fueling needless anxiety. She's making the end of the world sound like it's the end of the world.
This whole charade's gone too far. Now I see she's speaking in front of a mock UN.
So that was the real UN.
So before you go full caps lock in an article comment section, let our expert counsellors assess your situation.
Sir, I just need to ask you some questions before we get started. Is your Twitter profile picture an egg?
Yeah, but I just don't have any good photos of my face.
We'll listen, no matter how ridiculous you sound.
Well, if she really is such a nice, sweet, caring Swedish girl, how come she can't help me assemble my Billy bookcase?
Yeah, but if she's so concerned about renewable energy, how come she doesn't wear one of those baseball caps with the solar panels and the fan on the front?
They said this Ladybird film was a comedy. Well, I didn't laugh once.
Sir, I think you're after the Greta Gerwig helpline.
99% on Rotten Tomatoes. 99%.
I'll patch you through.
It's okay. We understand that children acting like adults can make adults act like children.
I think if I'm honest, I'm just jealous that she got a free cruise to America.
Sir, she actually sailed there herself.
Well, I don't know why she gets to fist bump Obama when I've never gotten to.
Have you considered launching your own significant global movement?
But it's so much easier to shit on someone else's.
We shouldn't be listening to a child. We should be listening to an expert.
Oh, right. Well, do you want me to put you through to an expert? Hello?
The Greta Thunberg helpline, because when it comes to climate change, we all know she's the real problem.
In 2017, Facebook announced it would expand the number of people it had working on safety and security to 30,000, 15,000 of which would be content moderators. Content moderation is a really difficult job. You have to take Facebook's policies, which can change every day, and then apply them to decide what stays up on Facebook and Instagram and what comes down. A couple of months ago, I was contacted by some moderators who worked for Facebook in Tampa, Florida through a company called Cognizant, and they told me that they wanted to go on the record. Now, this is a really big deal. Everyone who works for Cognizant signs a lengthy non-disclosure agreement in which they pledge not to talk about the work that they're doing. But the moderators who I met in Florida told me that they wanted to tell their story to the world so that we all could understand what it's like to do this job day to day and about the long-term mental health consequences of policing the biggest social network in the world.
I was ecstatic. I thought I was going to climb the corporate ladder. I thought, this is Facebook. I'm going to be doing some really good stuff.
I thought I was going to be reading Facebook posts all day. So people going, everybody posts their business on Facebook. So I thought I was going to read everybody's stuff and then be able to, decide if it has to stay up or come down. So I thought it would be a fun job.
What did they tell you the job was going to be like?
Basically, they told me that I would be going onto like high-profile social media accounts, such as like Disney World or like Animal Orlando, and I'd be doing kind of like some data searching, like seeing what types of posts most people react to and they comment to and like to.
At what point did it become clear to you that you weren't going to be helping businesses on Facebook?
Probably the second or third day of training. And basically we had an outline of what we were doing, and none of it was business. It was graphic violence, hate speech, sexual solicitation, sexual exploitation, that kind of stuff.
So they told you, we're going to put you in a queue of content that is dedicated to graphic violence and hate speech.
Yes, you would get the occasional random thing, but for the most part it was always graphic violence and hate speech, because that's all that was coming for us.
Did anybody ask you about your mental health before they assigned you to that?
Nobody ever asked about my mental health there. Nobody said anything about mental health.
What were like some of the kinds of things that you would see that would be really hard for you?
Where do I start? Animals, mostly animals, abusive animals. I've seen them had a puppy with a rope hanging it, and I've seen a pit of pigs and they threw fire and you can hear the pigs screaming. I don't want to get emotional, talk about the animals.
There was one where there was a baby that was, there were twin babies from like Saudi Arabia, and the mother was dropping the baby on the ground. This is one we saw over and over again, and then choke the baby, and you hear the baby gurgling and trying to breathe. And for days, it infected my mind. I had to know what happened to this baby because I'd seen it over and over and over again. Luckily, the baby was okay.
Sorry. I just think about all the animals all the time. And that's what I'm still thinking about, even though I left.
Do you remember the first video that you saw?
It was a video in a different language, and it was these two teenagers, and they came across an iguana on the street. And one of the kids grabbed the iguana by the tail, and they started to smash the iguana onto the ground. And you could just hear the iguana screaming. And that was one of the first videos I saw in that queue. Yeah. And they kept slamming the iguana onto the ground. And the iguana just kept screaming and screaming. And then the screaming stopped, and it was just a bloody pile. And the kids were just laughing at the iguana.
Were you able to remove that video from Facebook?
No, since that video had no title and no caption, we were supposed to send it to a different queue for Spanish speaking. But I don't think there really was a Spanish speaking queue that was taking care of that.
Killing an animal on screen, uploading that to Facebook, at least when you worked there, that was okay.
That was okay. I just think about that. And we're not helping the animals either. We're not even humans. We're not even helping humans. I have seen videos of a babysitter choking a toddler to death and giving bloody noses to babies. And it stays, and nobody does anything, and it's just there. It's always there. And you have to always look at it. You always see death every single day. You see pain and suffering, and it just makes you angry because they're not doing anything. The stuff that does get deleted, it winds up back there anyway.
Maybe a psychological test would help, because you know, some people could handle certain things than others, and maybe they won't be affected with PTSD or any anxiety or whatever the case may be that could come from seeing this stuff over and over again.
How did you get through it during the day?
I ate. When you look at bad stuff all day, sometimes you just want to eat something sweet to make you feel better.
How else did you change while you were doing this work?
I was very snappy with everybody. I had night terrors like almost every night. I was only getting like an hour or two of sleep because I was just always thinking about the content, the videos, the pictures, the people and the animals that were basically, you know, their whole deaths were broadcast. Like the most cruel things imaginable. Just, it's there and it's allowed to be there.
Did you go talk to somebody about your night terrors?
Yes, I did. I went to a mental health facility in Clearwater, and they diagnosed me with PTSD. They gave me some medication for night terrors. They also prescribed me some Xanax. It really has helped a lot with my sleeping. I'm able to sleep again. Just knowing that there's this kind of stuff still going on just scares the heck out of me. It's terrifying to know that that stuff is real.
So Facebook has told me they don't have quotas for how many jobs that moderators are supposed to do. How did you feel when you were there?
There's a quota.
Yeah, what is it?
Yeah, it started where it used to be higher, like 354, was it? And then right by the time we left, they're like, well, we want you to at least do 250 a day. That's a quota to me if you're telling me to do that many jobs.
What is the score?
Oh, the score. You're supposed to be getting a 96 to 98%. But nobody in our training class actually got anywhere close to that. Everybody was in the 80s, including myself.
So the basic idea of the score is that the 15,000 moderators it has around the world should be executing their policies perfectly, and they should be taking down everything that should be taken down and leaving up everything that should be taken up, and they should do that with a 98% degree of accuracy.
That is correct.
But it's not happening in practice because, as you're just saying, the policies are changing how often?
Daily.
How much pressure is there on moderators to keep that score high?
That's
probably the main focus there. And every day it's, you got bad quality, you gotta send it back, you gotta do, like all the time, you gotta do disputes on this. Oh, why is your quality so low? Every day, every day.
Every day they're sort of hammering that home that you need to be perfect. Walk us through like your average day doing this job.
You sat at your desk, you put on your headphones, and you worked all day. No one came to comfort you. If you were upset, no one came to talk to you throughout the day. If you turned around to talk to a friend, you were being screamed at for not looking at your content and doing your work. They say all the time, okay, we have these counselors here to help you, but we've got 9 minutes of wellness every day. So I'm supposed to go talk to this counselor about the 500 videos I've looked at today in 9 minutes, and I'm supposed to be okay? It doesn't make any sense.
It's a toxic environment. The higher-ups don't really care. They're very nonchalant about the problems that are in there, such as workers having sex in the building, people are drinking alcohol and smoking weed in the parking lot, just a lot of sexual harassment going on from the higher-ups to the content moderators. And there was a problem of the bathrooms. Some employees thought it was funny to smear feces all over the stalls and urinate on the floor.
And how many bathrooms are there for the 800 employees that work there?
One bathroom. There is one bathroom in the entire building.
Why didn't you quit while you were doing this job?
Well, as I said before, the market was tough. It's tough down here, and you know, I had such difficulties finding a job. I was scared to find another job, and it was also just kind of something weird that the managers would always tell the employees, where it's like, oh, if you quit, you're gonna have to go back to call centers, because I guess like that was the only thing that a lot of these people did, was call centers.
So they're reminding you, this is the best you can do around here.
Yes.
For $50 an hour.
I was actually really excited for that, because in college, all my professors were like, you know, you want to get that good $30,000 starting entry level job.
Absolutely disgusting. Always the desks were disgusting. Pubic hairs on the desk, boogers on the desk. They never did a fire drill because they said Facebook wouldn't let us off the content to do a fire drill. And one time, Facebook was coming to visit, and the day before, they had every manager painting and cleaning the building so it would look presentable for Facebook. And that just proves that Cognizant knew it was unacceptable for the building to be in this condition. It's like a sweatshop in America. It really is. All they care about is getting that content moved through. As long as you were sitting in your desk, not talking to anybody else and doing your content, they were happy. It didn't matter. Nobody there matters.
What do you think people should know about this job that they don't already?
When I actually got into all of this, and they explained what I was really doing, they made it feel like you were going to make a difference on social media, and there were going to be people and animals that you could help bring justice to. You're not doing that at all. All that you're doing, you're covering up Facebook's mistakes.
Hey, thanks for watching, and if you want to know more about our ever-changing social networks and their effects on the world, I invite you to subscribe to my daily newsletter, Interface. You can find it at theverge.com/interface. And of course, if you want more great videos from The Verge, subscribe to this channel.